The gasket is in place, so it is time for the head to get in as well. So let's have a go at it and see what is gonna happen. I want to mention something to show you. On the fourth cylinder you can see the openings for the water, where the water is going around the cylinder are matching, the gasket is matching the block and the head. But on the other cylinders we have these small holes that don't match the openings, and this is annoying and frustrates me, but now I won't attempt to make them bigger and fit the bulk because I don't have the patience, I don't have the time, and I'm afraid that I can mess up the gasket, and I don't want to risk that to happen, so I'm gonna install it as it is. But in future, if I have problems with this, probably I will have to find a new gasket, and if it doesn't matches the openings, I'm gonna have to redo the gasket in a way that is gonna fit the openings, so I'm gonna be sure that I'm gonna have enough cooling. But this is something that I think it is gonna be difficult for me to do at the moment, so I'm not gonna risk it, and I will leave this one as it is, but it's something that I needed to mention. Let's start assembling. It's done, it's finally done. I'm over with this tedious procedure. I don't know what I have done. It is pretty straightforward and simple on this engine. There is only 3 steps in this case. The first one is at 30 Newton meters, 30 to 35 Newton meters. You can see it over here, and 2 times at 90 degrees. But the second time was very hard for me to make it. It was very tight already. I was afraid that I might break a bolt or something in this process. They felt very awkward. I felt like they are on the verge of breaking. So in the very end of the 90 degrees movement that I had to make, it felt like they were like springs kind of getting backwards when I was releasing the wrench. But anyway, I went through all of them and I repeated the process equally, I think at least, because this time each bolt felt the same as the one before. In a couple of occasions I had this awkward feeling when I was tightening the bolts. Some of them were relieving the pressure for a moment and then getting back on. It was very strange, I don't know, but I'm hoping that nothing is out of its place, that everything is fine, and we'll see together. I am a bit frustrated and tired because the inlet manifold was messing with me. It was a dumb idea to leave it like this, but to remove this manifold out of there, you can see that those connectors over there and the wiring is keeping the manifold in place, and if I had to remove this, I even don't remember what I had to do to remove it, but it is way too much work. I had to disassemble probably all of it. All of that stuff had to go away, and this is insane amount of work that I didn't want to do. So I left it there, and in this case this messed up everything. The head was hitting in the manifold constantly. I couldn't get it into place. I was hoping to get the manifold into the studs that are for it, and this way to be able to get the head into place, but it wasn't working, so I had to pull it out of the way in this awkward position that it is now. And in the process I left the head resting onto its place, and while I was pulling the manifold, the inlet manifold, the head slid over the outlet manifold and scratched in one of the ports. So I was completely going insanely mad at myself and everything, so I decided to just leave it like it is, and we'll see what is gonna happen. I'm sorry that after all of this work this had to happen, but it is what it is. I couldn't get this scratch out. There were 3 of them, like a cloth, resembling a small cloth, weird shaped thing that is messing my mind now. But it was only this much, an inch or something, only 2 or 3 centimeters. It wasn't a big deal at the end of the head, but it was very frustrating for me to see that and to happen. So at the moment I truly don't care what is going on. I'm gonna slam everything back together and I'm gonna test it. If it works, okay. If not, I don't know. At the moment I'm kind of angry at myself and I wanna grab a hammer and start smashing stuff, because honestly, after so much work, to make such a stupid mistake, it was simply unforgivable. But still, the head is in place. Now I will think about assembling probably I'm gonna replace the water pump, and afterwards I'm gonna start installing the timing chain and stuff. So finally I'm getting somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. Let's continue and we'll see what is gonna come out of all of this. The new pump is in place, the water pump I mean, and it looks very nice. Of course everything new looks nice, everything else is dirty and all the old parts, and this is the first part that is kind of showing and saying that there is some work being done on this engine, and I'm getting excited. I know that I was frustrated when I assembled the head, and I was disappointed in myself and what has happened, but still I'm beginning to get my hopes up, and it was kind of difficult to remove the old one. You can see that she came out in pieces, it broke in every possible way, and now it doesn't do anything anymore. It spins without any connection to the two ends of the pump, and over here I have another piece that was on this side over here. Obviously, to take this out, there are these little holes on the side that have some thread on them. You can use the bolts for the pump on the both sides of the pump to screw them in and pull out the pump, because it is nearly impossible to do it any other way, and that helped me, but I didn't pay much attention to what I was doing. I saw that the pump was moving and getting out, but at some point it was tilted at one of the sides of the pump, and that led to this little piece to come off the pump, and the pump broke inside of the housing, but still I was able to get it out, and now I'm gonna try to time the engine, so let's go and do that. Before I release the tensioner, because this is what I'm left to do at the moment, and to tighten the bolts on the camshaft and this bolt on the tensioner over here, I want to show you, according to video that I watched and out data information that I have found, how to time an engine like this one. I believe this is M43B16, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't check, but I think this is the model. It is 1.6 liter engine, 102, yes, 2 horsepower engine, brake horsepower, so it is 75 kilowatts. And basically beneath the starter motor, on the right side of the motor, the starter motor is on that side. When I face the engine is the right side, or it is the left side of the engine. Beneath the starter motor there is a small hole opening that special tool needs to be inserted. In my case I used 8mm drill bit that is locking the crankshaft into position. And the other mark that you can make for yourself and thing to notice is that on the crankshaft there is this notch, and this notch should face this bolt over here. You can see they are in line almost. I don't know why in my case it's not perfectly in line, but I have the drill bit in place, so probably it should face this bolt over here. And also there is arrow over here. Let me try to show you that arrow marked in white that should be aligned with this notch over here. This is the pulley, and you can see that there is marked in white as well. At the moment is out of its place. In a little while I'm gonna show you how they align as well, but for the time being you can see that this has to be aligned. Afterwards what I did was to install the pulley, that this sprocket, I mean, that is for the camshaft, and you can see there is an arrow that also should be aligned with this bolt over here, and she can be adjusted. At the moment the bolts are loose. I'm not gonna tighten them until I release the tensioner, but still, what else you can use as a guide when it comes to the camshaft? At the moment you can see, since the first cylinder is at top dead center, notches on the camshaft are facing upwards, the both of them, and in this case, on these engines, there is a special bracket that is locking the camshaft on this squarish thing over here, and I want to show you how you can check what is the case with your camshaft by using something straight. I'm using an angle that is showing me that the camshaft, it is perpendicular to the head, so this means that it's in the right spot, the right position, and basically this is it. Now the only thing that I have to do is to release the tensioner, and afterwards, as I mentioned, I'm gonna tighten this and this bolt. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna turn the engine at least 2 times on the crankshaft, and we'll see if everything is matching the marks, if everything is okay. And if that is the case, I'm gonna spin it a little bit more, and if everything is okay, I'm gonna retighten everything to make sure that everything is tight enough, and assembling the rest of the stuff around the engine, which is the covers over here in the front, and the thermostat and the pulleys and everything. So we are almost there, guys. So let's release the tensioner and check if everything is okay. Everything is tightened. I have tightened these bolts, the tensioner as well, and after 2 whole turns of the crankshaft, you can now see that the notch over here is facing the arrow over there. I'm going to remove my hand so you can see better. Everything is aligned. The arrow is back upwards. It is slightly off. I don't know why did she went so off, but it's not a problem. Everything is okay, since I told you that she is compensated through these holes over here. They are allowing the tensioner to do its job and tighten the chain without messing up with the timing of the engine. So I'm gonna place my straight angle so you can see that is aligned perfectly. And yeah, I think this is gonna be it. I'm not gonna mess around with it anymore. I will take a short break for lunch because it is already lunchtime, and I will remove the crankshaft pulley and install the lower cover. First I'm gonna replace the seal that is on the crankshaft because I have new seal, new gaskets all the way, and I'm gonna start by installing the lower cover, the upper cover, the thermostat, the rocker cover, the valve cover of course, and basically I'm excited, really excited. From this point forward I expect the things to be smoother and to be able to start this soon. So I hope this was helpful, and let's proceed with the other stuff. Well guys, I don't know about you, but I am ready to find out if this car is gonna start once again, if it is gonna run, because it is about time. I have assembled everything. You can see that the intake manifold is in place, the exhaust manifold, you cannot see it, but it is in place, the coil is in place, and the fan with the diffuser and everything is attached. The only thing that is missing at the moment is battery, that I'm gonna grab a battery and install that as well, and pour some water. At the moment I decided not to use the new thermostat that I have. I went and installed the old one that I have removed the thermostat itself, and for the time being, because it is way too hot at the moment and I want to be able to drive this at least for a while. If I haven't done the proper job and anything is to go wrong with the work that I did, I think that I'm gonna be able to drive it for the time being. When the fall comes and temperatures drop, then I'm gonna install the proper thermostat, but for the moment I don't need it, and as I mentioned, it is way too hot, so I worry that if I install the thermostat and I drive it the way that we intend to, it is gonna overheat. So anyway, even if the engine is done the proper way and it works nice and everything, it may get way too warm, and at the moment it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm gonna mount the battery and turn the key and see if this thing is gonna start finally after 8 months of thing being disassembled and so much work that I have done. It doesn't look like it. You can tell that everything is dusty and rusty and dirty, and it doesn't look like anyone has done anything to this car, but we'll see. Let's give it a crank. dosta je toplo. Well guys, I had to adjust the RPMs a bit, and at the moment it's working very well, and I think this is a success, at least for now. It starts and it runs. Let me show you. These are the RPMs and you can hear it. I'm gonna rev it for a moment. I know I don't have an exhaust, but still I think it has a very good kick it didn't have before. At the moment we have very high temperature. It is normal for it to be over there, but without the thermostat I don't know what is gonna happen. I am eager to find out if it is gonna overheat. So I'm gonna let it run for a moment and we'll see. Well guys, it runs, and I think this is gonna be all for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope that you liked it and you're gonna consider subscribing, but for the time being I'm gonna rush to the track because I don't think I can wait anymore to see if this is gonna run better than before and if I'm gonna have any problems with the engine. So thank you again for watching, stay safe, stay tuned, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye for now.